Let me tell you, I was reading the scriptures today, and I said, let me go back and read something with dealing with David, Goliath, and everything. And when I went back to read everything about David and Goliath, it was some serious stuff going on. There was a lot of things put on the table. There was a lot of things that could have went a different way for Israel. You got to look at how intense that story is. And we're not going to go through the scriptures. I want you to go back through the scriptures and read that. I want you to go back and look at when David showed up, for the fight. He wasn't going there for the fight, but he showed up when the fight was supposed to be going on with Israel, and this giant from the Philistines was being just disrespectful with his mouth about Yahweh, about the people of Israel, the king, everything, and what he gonna do and what his people gonna do and everything, and David came up and was basically asking Israel, and the king, why are y'all sitting back basically and letting this heathen talk like this? Israel was scared. They were scared. Even though they were at the battle, they were scared. They was terrified. But here come this little young man. One little young man came with courage in his heart, because he didn't play about Yahweh being defiled. He didn't play that. So he telling them basically, through the story, he gonna handle the situation and he gonna do it. They wanted to equip him with a bunch of weapons. He's like, nah, I'm gonna use my stones, my slingshot, and we're gonna take care of this business, And all Israel looking like, even his brothers is there, Eliab, Benadad, and Shimon. They there. And they even looking, they don't even got the courage that David got. David got some serious courage. That you got all these grown men that wasn't willing to go out and fight this Philistine or Philistine. They weren't willing to do it. But they looking at this young man that came to do it. And they looking at he didn't want no sword, none of the shields, none of that armor, none of that stuff. They looking at all of this. Now, could you imagine all of the words going on at that time? Could you imagine all of the gossip happening at that moment of David? Can you imagine? Yes, I guarantee you David had some butterflies in his stomach, but he knew what he felt needed to be done, and he knew what was right, even if he had to lose his life. But all the gossiping that was going on back then and why he was getting ready and everything, can you imagine? They like, oh, we about to bury this dude. He about to die. He coming thinking that he can do something that we, haven't already thought of. They thinking, oh, he coming and he acting like he can do something that we can't do. Yeah, he obviously feels that. Because y'all fear put y'all in a place to where it became a standstill. Why somebody was running off at the mouth. Why somebody had a lot of lip. And David didn't tolerate that lip about his God. So when you look at it, check this out. They knowing, they thinking and they saying, hey, we're going to have to bury this kid, scared, he can't possibly win. But can you imagine when the scripture said that David ran and took that stone and hit that giant in the head? And the giant fell and David didn't have no sword. He ran and stood on his chest, took his sword and took his head. Can you imagine the other side that was chanting for their giant? And when they saw that happen and they dropped and their mouths dropped, and then they was like, oh my goodness, and the scripture said they began to flee. And then you read the scriptures where it says that Israel fled after them. Can you imagine that when Israel fled after them, something happened first? When David took down the Goliath, Israel cheered. They went crazy. Can you imagine the energy? They went crazy. They like, he did it. Yahweh, he did it. And then he took his head. And then they seen all of the Philistines running. They were looking at David. They was like, man, if he could do that, man, we put that braveness in your chest and run. Run after all of them. Get them. They all went after him. Went and slaughtered all. Yo, that energy had to be real. That energy had to be just, because they like, whoa, Yahweh is with us. Yahweh is with us. And it proves through that young man, Yahweh is with us. He didn't sit down like the king was sitting down. He didn't walk around pretty like the king was looking pretty. Yeah. He didn't have no bodyguards walking on the side of him. Huh? He didn't have on shiny shoes and all of that stuff. The good-looking breastplate for war. He came as a shepherd boy. Regular, looking regular. And shook the whole field. Shook the whole battlefield. Shook the minds of everyone. Something to think about. That was real. That was real. That energy was real. He took the power of 5 to do it, but he only used one of the 5 to get the job done. And then he combined hand with sword and took the head. Think about that. Oh, Yahweh. Oh, Yahweh.